He knocked me over. I landed on the dog bowl.
This one's wife. Paid to clap. ESPY shame. Hello, I'm HG Tudor. As you know, last week it was the ESPY Awards. Harry looked like he was ready to blow chunks when he walked up on the stage, clearly extremely nervous and anticipating that he would be booed as a consequence of the significant criticism that he experienced prior to the award ceremony itself, the existence of the petition, and numerous people in the media criticising the fact that he'd been selected for this award. It appears, as per Angela Levin, that apparently Prince Harry reportedly had people in the ESPY Awards audience clap for him after it emerged that the Duke of Sussex paid them. The spare author reportedly feared being booed at the event and allegedly shelled out money to maintain his public image. This is a short report that is in the international news, as reported by the enigmatically named Web Desk. Accordingly, could it be that Angela Levin is correct and that Harry paid individuals in the audience? Well, if he didn't, it's a defamatory observation that she has made, and therefore she must be fairly sure of her sources for that to have occurred. Moreover, is it something that would be done? Well, absolutely, it would be. Remember, the United States represents really the last opportunity for this one's wife and Harry to succeed. They had failed in the United Kingdom. They had failed in Australia. They'd failed in relation to South Africa. They failed in Canada. And therefore, the United States was seen as the best place to go to in order to realise the outcome that this one's wife has always wanted, that she has always desired to be worshipped as an all-conquering celebrity in the United States. She's wanted to walk the red carpets. She has wanted the adoration. She has wanted the wealth and recognition. She has wanted all of that. She's not interested in service. She's not interested in turning up at a biscuit factory in Hucknall. I don't know if there's a biscuit factory in Hucknall, but let's assume there is. And shaking hands with the local populace and asking them what do they prefer to make, digestives or hobnobs. She has no interest in that. It's boring. It's not glamorous. She doesn't want to have to walk through a rainy street in Darlington for the purposes of meeting somebody undertaking charity work for disadvantaged youth. Where's the sexiness in that? Where's the attractiveness? Where's the sun-kissed, beautiful people? No. Her narcissism was attracted to the royal family because it would provide her with prominence, and she believed that she would be accessing huge wealth, because Harry, she believed, was wealthier than he actually was, and that she would get a title, and then she could piss off. She had no interest in doing the hard yards. She had no interest in exhibiting the type of service for which the late Queen Elizabeth II was admired, for which Princess Anne, an absolute trooper, continues to be admired, and other members of the royal family. This is because she is a lazy, grifting individual whose narcissism simply pursues the easiest route to get to the prime aims, and she's driven by fame and wealth and adoration. Now, as I've explained before, there are narcissists in the royal family who have maintained that role, and they have done so as a consequence of the fact that their narcissism enables them to do that because their narcissism recognises the advantages of the application of service towards the prime aims. But for this one's wife, her narcissism suggested, you don't need to do any of that. You can be loved by going to the United States. Accordingly, that's where she went, via Canada. And the fact is, her narcissism makes her desperate to succeed in the United States because if she doesn't, that's it. There might be other places where she could attempt to go and grift, like she tried in Nigeria, but other markets do not have the wealth, prestige, power, or glamour of the United States. She wants to make it in Hollywood. She wants to be amongst the A-list. And therefore, that is why she exhibits this level of desperation to continue to be accepted, even though the A-list are turning their backs on them, that the A-list are ridiculing them, that Gwyneth Paltrow repeatedly has taken pot shots at them. She is so desperate to survive and thrive in the United States because, in her mind, there's nowhere else that she would be able to do so. This means that she and Harry have to resort to whatever they can do to make it seem like they're popular. The repeated pumping out of the puff pieces, the purchasing of awards, getting the dwindling group of friends to speak highly about them, making it seem like there are exciting projects in the pipeline. They have to talk it up. They want to be successful. They want to be popular. And the backlash that arose in relation to the ESPY Awards continued to threaten that notion of achieving success. Therefore, it was rumoured that they would be playing a cheering and laughter track to try and drown out any boos, no doubt requested by the Sussexes as part of trying to maintain that they are popular. That failed. Whilst there were people clapping and cheering, the boos were discernible, as I've mentioned in a previous video. Furthermore, in order to try and ensure that there was some support for them, it would be entirely conceivable that the Sussexes organised for people to pay during the ESPY Awards. Cast your mind back to this one's wife's boring appearance at Bridgewater Hall in Manchester a couple of years ago. You remember when she walked in, rictus grin in place, grip of doom on Harry, and there was the over-enthusiastic response of an individual in the audience, and it later transpired that basically students had been paid to clap and cheer to give them an enthusiastic welcome. That's because, one, they're unpopular, and that unpopularity has increased. Two, this one's wife and Harry are desperate to be seen as liked. And therefore, they have to resort to such behaviour. And that, whilst that took place in the United Kingdom a couple of years ago, it's entirely conceivable that it will also take place in the United States now, because they're in Last Chance Saloon. To my mind, they've already failed. But in their world, they still believe that they might be able to turn things around, that they can have another rehabilitation, that the image can be changed once again to rekindle those dying reputations, that popularity could come back. I don't see that it will. But that's not going to stop the deluded duo attempt to do so. And part of that is to try and portray an image of popularity by buying an award, by making the speech, by seen to have been supported by the audience, which of course backfired because one, there were boos, two, their own rude behaviour caused people to gesticulate for them to get out. The gentleman talked about passing the microphone down to this one's wife. It sounded like someone suggested she's no Princess of Wales. And therefore, once again, it shows also how she isn't this calculating Svengali, but rather, whatever they do, even when they try to massage the situation to make themselves seem popular, it backfires. Because at the end of the day, they become so unpopular, they can't mask it completely. No matter how many people they purportedly paid to clap in the audience, it still couldn't mask some of the booing. No matter how many people they've tried to influence by paying for an award, it wasn't sufficient to stop certain people speaking their minds. And then they go and undo what they've attempted to achieve by walking out part way through and greeting other people, demonstrating themselves to be completely rude individuals. That just shows they try and massage the audience by paying for people to clap and then go and fuck it up by leaving part way through and getting in the way of people trying to watch what's going on. It just shows what a pair of idiots they are. They'll keep trying as they continue on that downward spiral. But to my mind, the inevitable obscurity beckons. I'm HG Tudor. Thank you for listening.